The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. I hope that you made it through your week with a few scars. And if you did encounter some really bad stuff, I hope that you will get through it very soon. And hopefully your weekend will make up for it. So, this has been a crazy week. It really has. Yesterday, I did the Growing Out West Farmers Market in Evergreen, and it was a wonderful time. And I do have to say this, I won't give too much details, but I received a really, really nice thank you from a customer and his wife yesterday. And it touched me so deeply that I almost started crying. I was truly grateful. So if by chance that couple just happens to be watching this video, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. And thank you so much for buying tea from me. And thank you for being who you are. We need more good people on this planet. Thank you so much. And I'm going to switch things around a little bit. Speaking of growing out west in Evergreen, two of my fellow vendors make soap, and I want to talk about them today. So if you don't mind, and if you like to support small businesses, here we go. So this is by the company that did the Wuthering Heights soap that I talked about a couple of videos ago. This one is called Inner Peace. And what's really cool about this soap is that they used my meditation herbal tisane as part of the ingredients, but it smells divine. Like you can smell the hibiscus, but this is just one of those bars of soaps that you want to use when you have a day off and nobody's going to bother you for at least an hour, and you just get to enjoy a nice bath or shower just for yourself. But yes, this is Fern Canyon Soap, and the soap is called Inner Peace. You can get it through them at the Growing Out West Farmers Market in Evergreen. I think they might have this on their website. I'm not sure. I'm going to see them next Thursday so I can ask. But yes, I am so honored that one of my tea blends made it into a soap. So once again, Inner Peace by Fern Canyon Soap. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. And now the other soap is made by, like I said, another vendor. And this, so Jody's company is 7,220 Soap and Mercantile, which I think is the sea level for Evergreen. I think that's right. But yeah, Jody Crutchfield is the owner, and I will put her information along with Fern Canyon Soap's information on the website. On the video, excuse me, if you're interested in buying these soaps. So from Jody, I have Bathtub Gin, and it smells so good. The first time I smelled this soap, I was like, I have to have some of this. And there is juniper, rosemary, cedarwood, all kinds of good stuff. But yes, this is called Bathtub Gin, and she has incredible soaps as well. So many thanks to Fern Canyon and 7220 Soap and Mercantile for some incredible soaps. So get out there and support small businesses. I'm sure they ship. So thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Right, so getting to the books. I have two books that they're both written by British. No, wait, I'm sorry. Well, actually, let me backtrack. One's written by a British-French author, and one was written by a French author. But both of them deal with British people. I think I got that right. So let's just get to it. So the first one is a book that I did not realize I'd never read before. And when I read it, well, I'll just get into it. Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. I freaking loved this book. I loved it. It was phenomenal. I loved getting with Phileas Fogg and Passepartout traveling around the world in 80 days. And I'm a big PBS fan, and I saw the miniseries with David Tennant. I really hope that they kind of do a second series, but if they don't, it was great. But what's interesting is that having seen that, and now that I've read the book, I really wish PBS had stuck to the book, because the book it had enough. I mean, it had enough in there to create maybe 2 seasons, maybe three. But in case you've never heard the book before, let me read the back of it for you. On October 2nd, 1872, an English gentleman makes a remarkable wager. He can travel around the world, in the entire world, in a mere 80 days. Thus began Jules Verne's classic novel, which remains unsurpassed in sheer storytelling entertainment. Phileas Fogg and his faithful manservant Passepartout embark on a fantastic journey into a world filled with surprises, danger, and beauty. From the shores of India, where the travelers rescue the beautiful wife of a Rajah from ritual sacrifice, to the rugged American frontier, where their train is ambushed by an angry band of Sioux Indians. With 20,000 pounds at stake, Fogg's mission is complicated by an incredible case of mistaken identity that sends a Scotland Yard detective in hot pursuit. A riveting race against time and an action-packed odyssey into the unknown around the world in 80 days is a masterpiece of adventure fiction that has captured the imagination of generations of readers and continues to enthrall us today. And that is so true. This is 2024, and I devoured this book. I wanted to know. I mean, I knew Phileas Fogg was going to make it, but a part of me was like, is he really going to make it? I don't know. I just have to keep reading and just cheering him on from beyond the words and pages. But the only thing that really got me was that Fogg really didn't pay attention to his world. At the very end, he somewhat changed for certain reasons, but he didn't take in the beauty and the wonders of the world that he was traveling around. Passepartout did. And I really did admire that in his servant or his assistant. But other than that, no complaints about the story. I love Jules Verne anyway. What a great vacation to take, and you don't even have to leave your house or the library or a coffee shop. So, Monsieur Verne, thank you so much from beyond where you are for Around the World in 80 Days. And it does receive 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. Excellent. Excellent. Merci beaucoup. But yes, if you are trying to read more classics or trying to bring more classics into your life, Around the World in 80 Days is really a great book. And it'll take you maybe 2 days to read it. Or if you have a full day of nothing to do, strap yourself in. You're going to enjoy it. You really will. So the second book, let me start off by saying that this was painful to read. It really was. And yet I got through it. I really wanted to dislike the book. I really did. I read the reviews on Goodreads and I thought, I'm going to hate this book. I'm just going to hate it. So I set my meditation timer for 30 minutes and I said, all right, after 30 minutes, I'm going to give it 30 minutes and then that's it. I ended up finishing the book in one sitting. And I'm surprised that I was able to read what I read. What am I talking about? The Ruins by Phoebe Wynne. This book has some subject matter that if you are triggered by anything involving children in a bad way or young girls in a bad way, don't read it. But having said that, I've read Flowers in the Attic, and yeah, there's the incest and the poisoning and all the weird stuff that happens with the family. I was able to read that book 3 times. So I thought, okay, if I can deal with Flowers in the Attic, and I also read Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita twice, I can deal with the Ruins. So let me read the dust jacket for you. Welcome to the Chateau des Sept, a jewel of the Côte d'Azur, where long summer days bring ease, glamour, and decadence to the holiday makers who can afford it. Ruby Ashby adores her parents' house in France, but this August everything feels different. Unexpected guests have descended upon the chateau, friends of her parents and their daughters, and they are keen to enjoy the hot, extravagant summer holiday to its fullest potential. But despite languid days spent poolside and long nights spent drinking, and there's a lot of drinking in this book, A shimmering tension grows between the adults and the sanctuary that Ruby once cherished soon starts to feel like a gilded cage. Over 2 decades later, the Chateau des Sept is for sale, its days of splendor and luxury long gone, leaving behind a terrible history and an ugly legacy. A young widow has returned to France, wanting to purchase the estate despite her memories of what transpired that fateful summer. But there is another person who is equally haunted by the chateau, and who also seeks to reclaim it. Who will set the house and its ghosts free, and who will become yet another of its victims? With riveting psychological complexity, The Ruins captures the tangled legacy of abuse, the glittering allure of the Mediterranean, and the dark shadows that wait beneath the surface of both. And the author actually put a little PSA. She says, "The Ruins contain some references to the emotional and sexual abuse of young girls. This book is a work of fiction, but speaks to experiences I recognize, so that little has been invented. I write in the hope that what is true for me could be true for at least one reader too, and might provide some consolation for the darkest moments of the female experience." Let me just get this out of the way. So it does receive a strong 4 pots of tea. Having said that, it was painful to read. Anything involving kids being abused or young girls, like I said, I've read Lolita and I was able to get through it twice. This book is kind of up there. I read it for the sake of I wanted revenge for the people who were monsters. I wanted it. I wanted them to get their comeuppance, schadenfreude to the nth degree. I'm not going to hold back. And I was satisfied. I'm not going to say what happened, but my deepest, darkest part of me was satisfied. If you are triggered by things like this, I wouldn't recommend reading it. But if you can just read the story as a story, I recommend it. The parents were horrible. I've known of some parents who were like the ones in this book, and every time that they just interact with their daughters or the other daughters, I cringed because I thought, please tell me that people really aren't like this. And then as soon as I thought that, I thought, of course some people are like this. Of course they are. Storytelling was excellent. Phoebe Wynne is quite good at being a storyteller. And in fact, when I looked at Goodreads, I noticed that her first book, Madam, is actually on my to be read list. And I added it to my to be read list back in 2021. So 3 years later, I'm reading her second book, and I've already got her first book ready to be checked out at one of my libraries. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, this was hard to read. It really was. And the book goes between 2 time periods. You've got 1985, the summer, and then you have 2010, where somebody from 1985 returns to the chateau. And I thought it was one person, but I was wrong. And I was like, oh, well, this actually makes a lot of sense. I don't want to give away any more of the story should you decide to read it. I've heard nothing but praise about Phoebe Wynne's first book, Madam, so I can't wait to read that. But yes, from Viridian Tea House, and if you are watching this, Phoebe Wynne, it was an excellent, hard to put down book that made me angry, that wanted blood, that wanted revenge, that wanted these girls to have some sort of a redemption, and kind of sort of did. But thank you very much for the book. Thank you. So many thanks to the spirit of Jules Verne for his lovely travels around the world, and Phoebe Wynne showing us the darker side of being a young girl. So moving on to the tea, this is kind of sort of a review, but this is now one of my favorite herbal blends, which I say that with every tea that I drink. This is one of my favorite teas. This is one of my favorite herbal blends. This is from the lovely company Bigelow. They're orange and spice. So I do have to say this though. One of my all-time favorite herbal blends is Mandarin Orange Spice by Celestial Seasonings. Having said that, it's really kind of hard to find it through the grocery store. And I can buy it from Amazon, but I really don't want to. But Boulder's just right up the street from where I live. So there's always, just going to Celestial Seasonings to pick up, a case of Mandarin Orange Spice. But having said that, the Orange and Spice Herbal Tea by Bigelow is wonderful. Absolutely delicious. In fact, I bought this box a couple days ago and I love drinking it in the afternoon. And last night, my boyfriend and I, so I've gotten hooked on the Great British Baking Show. We just got to season 7. We finished season 6 last night. And I know I'm way behind, but I made a cup of this and I was enjoying the antics of the semifinalists. And I thought, this is just a great herbal tisane. So the ingredients in here are rose hips, spices, hibiscus, orange peel, roasted chicory, and natural orange flavors. But this, a beautiful balance of citrus and zesty spices, it's so true. So if you're looking for a nice herbal tisane that you can just get at the grocery store, Bigelow's Orange and Spice Herbal Tea is the way to go. So from me to you, a little bit of orange and spice. I love the fact that, okay, so I've had it with honey. I've also had it with sugar. This is without any kind of sweetener. You really don't need it. That's just so good. And I actually made it into an iced tea. So I had 2 parts British breakfast and 1 part orange and spice. And I made a picture of it for my boyfriend. I haven't had it yet, but he loves it. So I'm glad for that. So that leads us to the water and tea breathing meditation. So make sure you got a glass of water or a cup of your favorite tea nearby. Find yourself in a comfortable position in a place where you're not going to be disturbed. As you all know, we're just going to focus on our breathing. No chanting, no images. But if you do find yourself caught up in an image in your mind, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just quietly tell yourself, thinking. Allow the thought to move on by and just come back to your breathing. We're not going to be perfect at this. This is just a way to take a break from our busy lives. So if you're ready, let's do this. And you can either close your eyes or you can just softly focus on something in front of you too. And now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now let's have a sip of your water or tea. That's so good. So that's all I have for today. Many thanks to the ghost of Jules Verne, Phoebe Wynne, the good folks at Fern Canyon Soap, and 7220 Soap and Mercantile for their wonderful products. And to the good folks at always at Bigelow, you guys rock. And finally, to all the viewers who watch my videos and keep watching them, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you very soon, and actually this Saturday I'm going to be at Mutiny Market at Mutiny Information Cafe in Denver. So if I don't see you through the ether with Viridian Tea House, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.